Imagine waking up one night, looking through your window and seeing a giant glowing band stretching across the sky. Not clouds, not the Milky Way, not the moon. A massive ring system wrapped around Earth. At first, it would look beautiful, but then you would realize something terrifying. Earth would never be the same again. If Earth had rings, they probably would not appear the same from every place on the planet. Near the equator, the rings might look like a thin glowing line cutting across the sky. But farther north or south, the view would be completely different. The rings could rise above the horizon like a giant shining arch. From some cities, they would look peaceful and beautiful. But from space, they would reveal something much bigger. A massive belt of dust, ice, and rock wrapped around our entire planet. The rings would not float randomly around Earth. They would most likely form around the equator, like a giant cosmic belt around the middle of the planet. And that detail changes everything. Because the view would depend on where you were standing. Near the equator, the rings could pass almost directly overhead. But farther north or south, they would appear lower in the sky, stretching across the horizon like a glowing bridge. So Earth would not have one sky anymore. Every part of the planet would see the rings in a different way. But the rings would not be solid. From far away, they might look smooth, like one glowing band around the planet. But up close, they would be made of billions of tiny pieces. Dust, rock, ice, and broken fragments, all moving around Earth at incredible speed. Some pieces might be smaller than a grain of sand. Others could be as large as cars, houses, or even buildings. So even though the rings would look peaceful from Earth, up close, they would be a dangerous storm of debris orbiting our planet. But how could Earth get rings in the first place? For that to happen, something violent would probably need to occur. One possibility is a large asteroid passing too close to Earth. At first, it would look like a normal object flying through space. But as it gets closer, Earth's gravity would begin to pull harder on the side facing the planet than the side facing away. That difference in gravity could stretch the asteroid, crack it apart, and eventually tear it into thousands or even millions of fragments. Those fragments could spread around Earth, forming a giant ring of debris. So even if the rings looked beautiful from the ground, their origin might be the result of a cosmic disaster. At night, Earth's rings would reflect sunlight, just like the moon does. But instead of light coming from one small object in the sky, it would come from a giant glowing arc stretching above the planet. Some nights would become brighter than anything we know today. Deserts, oceans, mountains, and cities could be covered in soft ring light. Shadows would look strange. The sky would no longer feel dark and empty. It would feel alive, beautiful, but also unnatural. Because night on Earth would never be truly dark again. But a brighter night sky would create a serious problem. For most people, the rings would be beautiful. But for astronomers, they could become a nightmare. Telescopes need dark skies to see faint objects deep in space. Distant galaxies, weak stars, small asteroids, and objects so far away that their light has been traveling for millions or even billions of years. But if Earth had bright rings above it, that extra light could wash out the darkness. The sky would glow more than it should. And suddenly, studying the universe from Earth would become much harder. The strange part is this. Earth with rings would make space look more beautiful, but it could make space much harder to understand. But the rings would not only change the night sky, they could also change the climate. A large ring system could cast shadows on Earth. Not everywhere at once, and not all the time. But in some seasons, parts of the planet could receive less sunlight than usual. That means some regions could become cooler. Weather patterns could shift, rainfall could change, and ecosystems that depend on sunlight might be affected. A thin ring might not make a huge difference, but a thick, bright ring system could act like a giant sunshade around the planet. Beautiful from the ground, but powerful enough to change life below. But the biggest problem would not be on the ground. It would be above us. Today, Earth's orbit is filled with satellites. They help us communicate. They guide our GPS. They track weather. They monitor the oceans, forests, storms, and cities. But if Earth had rings made of dust, ice, and rock, many satellites would be flying dangerously close to high-speed debris. Even a tiny particle moving at orbital speed could damage solar panels, cameras, or communication systems. A larger fragment could destroy a satellite completely. Launching rockets would become more difficult too. Every mission would need to avoid the ring system. Space around Earth would no longer be open and empty. It would become a dangerous highway of fast-moving debris. So, what if Earth had rings like Saturn? The answer is both beautiful and terrifying. Our planet would become one of the most stunning worlds in the solar system. The night sky would glow, the horizon would shine, and every person on Earth would live under a permanent cosmic monument. But those rings could also cast shadows, disturb satellites, complicate space travel, brighten the night, and slowly rain debris back toward the planet. Earth with rings would be breathtaking, but it would not be simple. Because in space, beauty often comes from chaos. And sometimes, the most beautiful things in the universe are also the most dangerous.